Hey everyone, hope your summer was excellent. It's time for us to dive into another season of ministry here at Lighthouse Church, bringing Jesus to others so that they can come fully alive. Well, in case you didn't catch it, we baptized 12 of our next gen this summer, and we've got a few adults in the pipeline to get baptized as well. Plus, we've met lots of new people over the summer. One of them came forward to receive Jesus into their life. How exciting is that? So already you heard me talk about how we've brought Sergio on to help us increase our effectiveness in connecting as staff for caring for our church community. Today, we are going to bring you updates on our new building project, our current financial picture, and our key goals for this year as discerned by the board and the staff at our planning meeting just a week and a half ago. Why don't I start with an update on our building project? If you remember, we have a need to replace the aging structures out back and to build something new and inspiring to move our ministry forward for decades to come. The membership empowered the board to move forward on a design to bring to the city, and we did that with great success. The architect has designed a great facility, and the city moved with swiftness and great support in giving our design their approval. The membership then empowered us to go ahead with the project, so long as we raised the funds needed before we broke ground. Well, it's taken us really a ridiculously long time to find support for the fundraising, but just this past month, the board approved engaging Waller and Associates out of Langley, BC, to guide us in this process. Their first phase is doing an in-depth feasibility study that will not only get us the much needed feedback from you and the community that we need, but will also give us the path forward in collecting the funds needed. We anticipate their report arriving before Christmas. Our point person with Waller and Associates is a man by the name of Glenn Embry. He went to Bible school with me at Summit, pastored numerous churches in Canada and the US, and comes highly recommended by our district office. Safe to say, he gets our context. We've had 2 meetings already, and we see the way that they are going to get us moving in the right direction. Some of you are going to be invited to meet with Glenn to help us in this feasibility study. In fact, all of us are going to get a chance to input into this study. The costs that we have expended to this point have all come from the monies set aside through specific donations for this purpose, and they do not impinge on our general operations fund. Well, speaking of finances, let's go to Erwin Flores, our treasurer, for an update on the current scenario of our finances here at Lighthouse Church.
I'm glad to report that at the halfway point in the year, our tithes to the general fund have been right about where we anticipated. Unfortunately, this budget's not currently helping us to climb out very quickly out of the government loans that we took out during the pandemic. We received an interest-free, partially forgivable $60,000 loan from the government as a COVID cash flow relief, and they will grant us $20,000 of that if we pay them back before the end of the year. The actual amount of cash available to us in the general fund is currently in the red because of the loans that we have to pay back. Our spending restraints will help us move in the right direction, but perhaps slower than we would like to see. So we're taking a hard look at what adjustments can be made, again, for the 2023 budget. And we've had some serious maintenance issues to address this year already, and so we hesitate to reduce the budget in that area. The only budget line item that would produce significant improvement in the cash flow would be reducing the salary of the staff. Something we're hesitant to do as the staff are critical to the healthy functioning of the church. However, it is something that Pastor Danny's looking at with our staff with great care and sensitivity. In the 2022 budget that we presented to you, we included plans to raise an extra $20,000 to help us move out of the red. We'd like to put the challenge to you now. Would you help us recover from the setbacks of the COVID-19 pandemic? Would you consider a sacrificial gift over and above your usual tithes to help us move back into the black? If you have any questions about this, please know that me and the entire board are happy to answer any of your questions. Back to you, Pastor Danny.
Thanks, Erwin. The last item for this report was to inform you of the key targets that we have had for this new season of ministry. Recently, the board met with the staff and interacted with them on their goals and targets for the coming year. We are excited about what lies ahead for our daycare, for our youth ministry, our kids ministry, and our Sunday services. And the discipleship training that Nick is bringing forward this year is truly fantastic. I can't wait till we all get to work through the new course, Rhythms of Life. But then we discussed what should be the big three. And this is what we are excited to share with you. Number 3 is to see the fundraising team raise the needed 75% so that we can re-engage the architect and get this project moving into the next phase. The fundraising could take a long time to come in, but we are believing for God to do something supernatural in the midst of our efforts. Number 2, our lease with the current facility in Steveston ends in February, and the cost of operating it has been challenging. But we believe for a strong Steveston campus and for the hub, servicing for the flourishing of this community. And we're believing for God to help us design a financially sustainable plan to move that Steveston work into the glorious future. And number 1, we have set a target for us together to see 25 people baptized in water. That's 25 people who can testify how one of you, our members, brought Jesus to them and how they have come fully alive. We spent a fair bit of time discussing this goal. In the end, we believe that the mission drives everything forward, and we need to set some challenging targets in front of us. In summary, we have Sergio now on board, helping us improve our connecting and our caring. We have some movement on our new community center project. And we have finances that are being kept carefully in check, but yet still operating within a very tight fiscal budget. We have a project to raise $20,000 to help us recover from the pandemic and get us moving into the great future ahead of us. And finally, we have some great goals for what we want to see this coming year, including seeing 25 people baptized in water, preferably with one of you standing there as a towel bearer because you are the one who brought Jesus to them and helped them to come fully alive. Let me conclude with the invitation for you to get generously involved in our mission here as a church. Bring Jesus to others in a bold, spirit-empowered manner. Give with generosity, worship with passion, serve with enthusiasm, as unto the Lord himself. It's time we move beyond the survival mode and start thriving. As Paul so beautifully said in 1 Corinthians 15, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. God bless you and thank you.